Hey guys, welcome to a new Shonen Jump video. This is the series where I take a look at everything running in the magazine, give my thoughts on it, update my impressions, and a bunch of people can get upset when I don't like a popular series. Now we have quite a lot to talk about today because a lot has happened since the last video. I wanted to get one of these out like a month ago, but you know, I was dying so I couldn't. So let's get right into it by of course giving updates on the series I'm currently reading. Chainsaw Man! This last chapter in Chainsaw Man was probably one of the most surprising chapters I've read all year. Fujimoto is insane. He is absolutely insane. This series is so good, but it's such a trip, man. I mean, right now it is my favorite series in the magazine, and this comes from someone who doesn't really like Fire Punch at all. It's just so crazy, so creative. The action and the artwork is unbelievably good, and yeah, I just can't get enough of it, man. I don't know how much longer it has left, because it's in a position where it feels like, you know, it could potentially be ending soon, but also it could only be half over. We don't know. But yeah, either way, I'm here for more of it. Absolutely cannot wait. And the English volumes will start releasing this October. My Hero Academia, this is another one that this last recent chapter, holy shit, my guys. Horikoshi is really snapping. I've mentioned this before, but I will reiterate that this past year of My Hero Academia has easily been the best content in the entire series. If you're not caught up, but you're a fan, you have a lot to look forward to. If you're anime only, I will say I am a bit worried about Season 5, where Season 4's production wasn't nearly as good as the previous ones, and where there's so much action coming up. I'm a bit worried the anime won't be able to capture it, but you really can't go wrong with this manga. I've been super impressed with it, and this is one I've really been with since the beginning, so I'm really glad I stuck with it because it's really paying off. Not much new to say on We Never Learn. It's still absolutely atrocious. I don't know what they're doing. It ends in November, thank fuck, finally. If it had ended like in February when it should have, I would have, you know, maybe had more positive things to say about it, but right now, goddamn, man, just cut the cord. Dr. Stone, still waiting a bit more before I catch up. Jujutsu Kaisen, still gonna wait for the anime because I didn't really like how it started, but a lot of people say it gets better. Black Clover, stop asking me, it's never happening. Yeah, man, it gets good at chapter 40, it gets good at chapter 100. I understand that may be the case, but if I'm already, you know, like so not invested in it, I don't think there's anything that will really make me fall in love with it like some people are. Undead Unluck, I'm hearing surprisingly like really great things about this one, which is so weird because it was a series I really wrote off when it first started. So I'll definitely want to check that out again eventually, but I haven't yet. Yeah, that series along with Mashal, which I love, have been doing extremely well in the sales, especially Mashal. Mashal is like this huge breakout hit, and I'm so happy for it. I would have been destroyed if this series got canceled. Speaking of canceled though, there's a bunch of other series that don't seem to be doing all that hot. Gravity Boys, I'm shocked this one stuck around for so long. Like seriously, like goddamn, man. Doesn't seem to be doing well. I don't know if it'll be around for much longer. Time Paradox Ghostwriter, also not doing very well, which is a little surprising. I thought it would be doing a bit better than it was, but apparently like a lot of Japanese readers have a real problem with the main character being, you know, such a blatant plagiarist. You know, that's not something I really thought about, but you know, that can be a pretty controversial thing. And I've pretty much lost interest in the story. I think from the first chapter it had a ton of potential, but I think they really started to squander it, and now it just really feels like they're rushing towards a conclusion, so I would not be surprised if this one ends soon. I do think this manga duo deserve another chance though, because the art is fantastic, and I do think this writer has good ideas. He just needs to, you know, refine his stuff a bit more. Then you have Mori King, which is surprisingly, I'm pretty sure it's sold better than Time Paradox Ghostwriter, but again, not well enough that I think this one will last. Unless we see like a big improvement in sales, I don't see much future for this one. And then Mission Yozakura Family. What the fuck? When I first read this, I was like, yeah, this will be a 3-volume axe. It has not only stuck around, but it's actually been steadily increasing in sales. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I still have zero interest in this series at all, but just the fact that it stuck around is pretty commendable. Now, its current sales are still not very good. I mean, they're still under like Undead Unluck and Mashal, which, you know, just started. But I think if it can slowly keep improving, then it could be a smaller hit. Although I still still don't think it's completely safe from the axe. Like, they aren't going to have a 20 volume series that's still selling this low, but for now, it is safe, and it is pretty impressive how it managed to do that. Now, before we talk about the new stuff, quite a bit actually ended. You have all your usual axings, but you know, a few massive ones in there as well. Now, in case you missed my video on it, I already made a whole thing talking about the Act Age situation, which is why I won't be talking about it here, so if you want to know all my thoughts, you can check out that video I made. But other than that, you have The Promised Neverland, which was a massive series, absolutely huge. It wrapped up with its 20th volume, and yeah, just like that, it's over. I did a full review on this one. As you know, I was quite disappointed. At the time, this was one of my favorite Jump series ever, but in the past year of its run, it really fell off a cliff in terms of quality. It didn't seem to affect the sales though, because they're as strong as ever. So yeah, I'm still a bit salty with how it all ended, but you know, it was a big thing, definitely worth mentioning, and despite everything, I am still pretty excited for Season 2, because that's still content that I really love. You also had Haikyuu ending, another massive series. All these massive mainstays are coming to an end. It's crazy. Unlike The Promised Neverland, Haikyuu had, in my opinion, a fantastic ending. It tied up everything together so nicely. It really rewarded people who stuck with it for so long. And even though I'm like a new fan of Haikyuu, you know, I read most of the manga right before it ended, but it's still really fantastic. And since the last video, 3 series have gotten cancelled. Guardian of the Witch, no surprise there at all. It was not good. Me, Thomas Security, I'll be honest, I was very surprised this one lasted as long as it did. The fact that this random ghost comedy thing from an unknown author outlasted Samurai 8 is pretty impressive. But yeah, it was running on fumes for quite a while, so it was no surprise when it ended. Then you have Bone Collection. This series, oh man, this was... I've read at least a few chapters of everything in the magazine, and this was probably the worst out of all of them. It just felt so bland and like nothing. Like it didn't leave a single impact on me at all. And now we have it ending after only 15 chapters, which is pretty rough. Ever since I've been doing this, nothing has been canceled that quickly. Zip Man even outlasted it. Fucking Zip Man. You can't stop the zip. It'll always get you. I do feel kind of bad though, because you know this author, seeing his comments in the volume, like this guy is really upset about this, and I definitely think he deserves another chance. I think all of these authors making these canceled series deserve other chances, because just getting to Jump is, you know, an achievement in itself. And it's clear that they have skill and the ability to make something great. But sometimes, you know, the pressure, the stress can really get to someone. Editors could make decisions that end up fucking things over. I never really like to see series get canceled. But at the end of the day, you know, if people aren't liking it and people aren't buying it, then that's all you can really do is business. Now, we also have quite a bit to talk about in terms of new series. 5 of them. Holy shit. With all these massive series ending, Jump is really trying to, you know, get something else to stick. Because Demon Slayer, Haikyuu, Promised Neverland, those were 3 of their biggest series ever right there. And of course, Act Age is gone now, which was, you know, shaping up to be one of their bigger series. There's not, like, all that much left. Like, you have One Piece and My Hero, which are really the only ones that are, like, massive. Black Clover, Dr. Stone, they do decent numbers. Jujutsu Kaisen could be a really massive one, along with Mashle and Chainsaw Man. But yeah, they're definitely down quite a bit. So let's see what this new batch has to offer. Let's see if anything could stick around. Me and Roboco. Oh my Jesus fuck. I don't know what it is about the art style for this series, because I generally like cartoony art styles, but like this makes me angry for some reason. I have no idea why. What the ugh. Anyway, this is a series about a 10-year-old boy who gets a robot maid, and the robot maid isn't like the other robot maids because instead of being cute, she's fat and ugly. But, oh, it looks like she has superpowers. Honestly, this wasn't as bad as I was expecting, but it wasn't that great either. Nothing about it made me laugh. I was just like, oh, haha, this is cute, I guess. Nothing else really much to say on it. I don't know if it'll take off. I don't know what wacky humor the Japanese kids are into these days. Then you have Magu-chan, God of Destruction, which is about a god of destruction who has been in slumber for like 1,000 years. Then this young girl finds him, and he's been reduced to like this tiny, cute alien thing. And she's like, oh, it's so cute, I'm gonna take it home and it'll be my pet. And he'll be like, you fool, I am the evil god of destruction. But he has no power, so he's all weak and cute. I've never seen this trope done before. Magu-chan and Roboco were interesting because they reminded me of some things that I haven't thought about in forever. You know, when you were a kid watching cartoons and, you know, like SpongeBob wouldn't be on, so you needed to find something else as a distraction, and you would put on shit like Captain Flamingo or Kid vs. Cat. Did people outside of Canada get these shows? I don't know. But you know what I mean, like those really disposable shows that were fine as a distraction when you were a kid, but you never really think about, they never really made an impact on pop culture. People never talk about them like they do, you know, the great SpongeBob, Avatar, Courage the Cowardly Dog, that type stuff. That's what these reminded me of. Like very disposable, just like fine distractions. Which might sound a bit mean, but hey, that's what I thought of them. Some people might disagree, some people might fall in love with these. It's really hard to tell if a comedy series is going to take off because it's so subjective. But yeah, we'll see. Next up is yet another comedy series. I know like most series in Jump have this flavor of comedy to them, but you know, they're really trying to get a new gag manga to stick here. And we have Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin. This is from a veteran mangaka who in the past worked on Beelzebub, which was another Shonen Jump gag manga that I don't really know anything about. There's like a baby Antichrist or something, whatever. This was my favorite of the new batch. That's not really saying much though. I thought this one was kind of fine, although I do really love the introduction to it. It's about a hard-boiled cop, of course, and his partner, who is a dolphin, and they hid this from the marketing. They didn't make it seem like there would be like, you know, like a giant dolphin going around with this guy at all. So when it actually happened in the story, I was like, oh, this is amazing, this is incredible. And it was really amusing seeing a dolphin go around doing cop stuff, you know, good cop stuff. They really picked a shitty time to release a cop manga. Like, whoa, what the fuck, man? And yeah, it was fine. I didn't read much more of it. You know, maybe if this takes off, I'll go back to it, because I did mildly enjoy it, but then not so much that I'd recommend it to people. Akayashi Triangle. From another veteran, the mangaka of To Love Ru, which I know nothing about other than it's apparently like, you know, your typical harem ecchi garbage. This is basically their replacement for Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs, which is a series that I have nothing but horrible things to say about. This series seems slightly better, but not by much. You got like this guy who hunts demons. He's a demon slayer. What do they call it? It's like a demon ninja. And you have his childhood friend who is in love with him. And at first it wasn't very ecchi. It was more action oriented. I'm like, what's going on here? Could this actually be something surprisingly good? But no, you see, he like pisses off the wrong demon. It turns him into a girl. So now he has to go to high school with his childhood friend who's in love with him. And he's a girl. It's a gender swap series. No. The only good gender swap series is Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. There has never been another good one. Might take a bit of heat for that one. I haven't read the Panda manga, so don't crucify me. But yeah, as soon as like the second chapter starts and they go to class and one of her friends just randomly grabs her thighs, she's like, "Oh, your thighs are so smooth." I'm like, fuck out of here. Probably going to be big, at least as big as one of these type of mangas can be. There's a very specific niche it caters to, and those people usually eat up the volumes like they're nothing. I'll never see the appeal to it. I mean, if you want to look at sexy stuff, just watch porn. It's all online. It's free. And then last, you have the return of Tite Kubo with Burn the Witch. I don't get it. Not the fact that this series came back. That was kind of to be expected. Of course, Burn the Witch, you know, was originally a one-shot that came out a couple years ago, a spin-off to Bleach. But what I don't get is the fact that this series is only 4 chapters long. The first chapter came out today, and there's only going to be 3 more, and I'm just like, why? What more? Like, what can you do in 4 chapters? That's not even a volume's worth of content, unless these are all long chapters. Like, it's really going to be hard to squeeze anything of substance out of this. I definitely think you can make short stories really good, but again, 4 is so short. Yeah, so Burn the Witch, it is a Bleach spin-off. It takes place in London, England, and this, I think, is actually a really cool idea, where the Soul Society is so centered in Japan and follows Japanese cultures. I was so like curious. I'm like, what about the other places in the world? Do they have a soul society? Is it the same place? Like, what do they do there? And Burn the Witch answers that question by showing us, you know, this west branch of the soul society, where things are basically the same, but everything just has a different name and design. And you have our 2 Soul Reaper girls, or witches. You have Ninny and you have Noel, not quite sure how we're pronouncing that one. One's a pop star, one's a high school girl, girl, it's like some Hannah Montana double life shit. And they go around on missions and they defeat dragons, which is this version of Hollows. There's this one guy though who like gets attacked by a dragon, and now dragons are attracted to him, and all of their bosses at the British Soul Society are like, hey, we gotta kill this guy. So I guess what the story is gonna be is basically our two main girls going against their bosses. Were they their bosses? I think so. You see, this was fine. This was perfectly okay. Like, there was a lot of early Bleach Kubo energy, which I really like. But my problem is there's just too much here. Like, it feels like this really should have been longer. There's a ton of exposition right off the bat, and they introduce so many characters. Like, in the last page, they introduce like 10 new characters. They're like all their captains or whatever. And I'm like, man, guys, you gotta chill. This is only gonna be 4 chapters. What can you even do with all of these people? There only should have been like one villain, a really simple story, because it's already feeling like it could be a bit convoluted and not leave much of an impact because there's not going to be enough time to develop all these characters. But we don't know yet. This is all just speculation. It is possible that the final 3 chapters in this mini-series could blow me away. So I'm not going to write this one off just yet, because I think there was enough in there that was good that this could end up being a pretty enjoyable limited series. It's also getting a movie, which could be interesting. They released a trailer for that today, and the animation looks really nice. And there you have it. That's all we got for today. Because there's been such a big gap between this one and my last Shonen Jump video, they have a new batch, about to come out. So it won't be too much longer. Maybe like late September, early October when I make a new one of these, because we'll have a bunch more series to talk about, and by then Burn the Witch should be over. It's too short to make a full series review, so I'll just, give my thoughts on the whole thing whenever I do another one of these. So with that, thank you all so much for watching. You can leave your thoughts on this video and all the series running in Shonen Jump in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video.